I thought I'd share some of the ways that I've tweaked this project just to improve it. Let's play the animation so you can have a look at it. You'll notice that I've added a little bit more character to it in the movements, and I've done this in various ways. If we move down to the timeline here and focus on that for a second, if I hit the accent key, you can see all the keyframes, and you can see there's various eased keyframes, held keyframes, also auto Bezier keyframes to change the type of movement. And it's hard to see by looking at the keyframes what's been done, so I usually find that looking at the graph editor is a better way. If we have a look at the scale value of the shoulder, you can see I've added a little bit of scale in there so it scales up and down. And I've also put a little bit of rotation in there, so there's the scale and the rotation of the shoulders. You've noticed I've made the transitions quite soft as well. So rather than having harsh linear keyframes, I've created soft graph shapes in there. And then if we scroll down and have a look at some others. So here we've got the knee animation. To make things soft, all I've done is selected the keyframes and then converted them to Auto Bezier, which is this button here. If you want to do that in this view, you just command click on the keyframes to make them Auto Bezier. And that will find the smoothest way to get from one value to another. So it's a really good keyframe type to use if you want something to smoothly change. So for example, if I wanted the belly keyframes to change more smoothly, select them all by clicking on the word position and then command click to change them to Auto Bezier. Now I've also put a scale and rotation in there and I've eased those. So I wanted to kind of have a slight hold there, so those are eased. So using these different keyframe types can really change the animation. Now if you want something to hold for a couple of seconds, for example the hand here, the scale value holds here. If we have a look at that on the graph editor, let's just switch scale on. Okay, so you'll see that it's holding between these 2 points. Wherever I've got a hold, what I want to do is toggle hold the first keyframe. So you right click and choose toggle hold, and that will just save it from accidentally moving or drifting between keyframes. So that's tweaked as well. And then finally down at the bottom here, you'll see that I've added some effects. And if we have a look up here in the effect control panel, you see I've got roughen edges on there. So let's switch off these so you can just see, which just gives us a little bit of movement on the edges. And then I've got the cartoon effect on there to make it look more kind of hand-drawn look. And then I've added posterize time, which just gives it a more kind of frame-based animation look. So have a think about using effects to tweak the animation and use the different keyframe interpolation types to really customize the timing of the animation.